Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Fanspire. This is the first episode on the broadcast of the Olympics, and we'll be covering the Indian contingent, more specifically the Indian hockey teams, the men and women's team. Fanspire is nothing but a talk show where we get passionate fans like you and me from around the globe to talk about their favorite sports, their favorite teams, and share their views, opinions. It's a talk show for the fans and by the fans. The idea is to give our fans a portal where they could interact with, our specialists, our subject matter experts, our professionals, our athletes, and post their questions, have a discussion, get their opinions. What do they think? And I, as your host, I will go ahead and post those questions for you. So my name is Alex, and I'll be your host for this 30-minute episode today. A little bit of background on me. I am the L&D head for a shipping organization. I am a former national level hockey player, and I was fortunate enough to play some hockey for our team. And today, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about, like I said, all the Indian hockey teams, the men and women's teams. So the stage is now set for one of the biggest sporting events, the world sees after a gap of 4 years, where with more than 300 medal events and over 200 countries competing. So it's not just only a tournament where only a few countries compete. It's more than 200 countries competing here at the Summer Olympics, and it promises to be a roller coaster for everybody. Well, mind you, this is not the first time the games are held in Tokyo. This is the second time. 1964 was the first time when the games were held in Tokyo. So that makes Japan the only Asian country to hold these events twice. Originally, these events were scheduled to be held from the 24th of July to the 9th of August 2020. But as you all are aware, with the ongoing pandemic, the games had to be pushed over by a year, and taking care of all the COVID protocols, measures, practices, safety of everybody involved in the tournament, the players, the coaches, the support staff, the organizers. It was decided that the event will be held in 2021 from the 23rd of July to the 8th of August. And you are aware today the opening ceremony happened. I hope you got a chance to watch it. Well, despite the delay, and some of you might be confused, and why are we still calling it Tokyo 2020, is because for branding and marketing purposes, everything is being planned 4 years in advance. So it takes a lot of effort, time, and money to change that. So we're going to keep that as Tokyo 2020. So without further ado, what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce the panelists for today that we have on our broadcast today. So can we have the panelists, please? All right, for today, so we have on the panel Mr. Leo Devados, who's an enthusiastic hockey lover. He's a freelance hockey journalist, a critical hockey video analyst. He has been an administrator and a coach of the Dhanraj Balal Academy in Bangalore. He's also served as a selector, for the teams in Karnataka. He's worked closely with the Bangalore team, specifically in the Premier Hockey League and with the Chandigarh Comets during the World Series hockey. So welcome to the session, sir.
Thank you.
Most important point that you need to know about Leo sir is he now serves as the chief editor of the One Team, One Dream social media platform, which has been going guns, and ensuring that we support our team to the fullest so that they can, in all the events we have the podium finish. So thank you, sir. Thank you very much for that. We also have Bharat Chikara here on our panel today. Bharat, as fondly known as Chikara, is also an ex-India international hockey player who's played as a midfielder for the national team. He was part of the winning team that won the bronze medal in the Asian Games 2010, a silver medal in the Commonwealth Games. So some heavy-duty accolades. Welcome, Bharat sir. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
We also have Vikram Kant, and again an ex-international, who needs no introduction. Played as a defender, was a fantastic defender for the Indian team, and he just to talk about the accolades that he brings in a gold in the 2007 Men's Asia Cup and a bronze medal in the 2007 Sultan Azlan Shah, and again a silver medal in 2008 Azlan Shah. So he's coming on the show with stellar performance. His views are very, very important to us. So hi Vikram, welcome on the show.
Hi everyone.
And We also have a surprise guest now. The reason why I'm saying surprise guest is because the first time on the panel, I'm going to be having two different set of opinions because we have Andrea Thompson on the panel today. She's a German born. She's a German national and a German hockey player, and she came to India with the thought to ensure that you educate kids through the field of sports, and she's obviously an ex hockey player who's now settled in. So she brings in a lot of accolades, and I'm going to point that out specifically here because I don't know whether many of us have read the article, but there was an article in Times of India most recently where Andrea is settled in Goa now, and she's running sort of a lack of a better term, a bakery, and she baked cakes and other stuff for our COVID warriors, and for every packet that she sent to the hospital, she tagged "thank you to the real heroes." So that's the kind of spirit that she brings in to value the effort that people put in, not just only for the sport
Nice,
but entire
nice.
humanity. So welcome, Andrea, to the show.
Thank you, Alex.
So we have and we also have Priyanka, by the way, who's going to be an invisible panelist here, who's going to help us run the event. Thank you, Priyanka. I know you don't like coming on the screen, but thank you very much for organizing this, and we need your help throughout this session. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be posing questions to each of you, and I'm going to talk through the entire thing. But I had a thought. I was looking at the rankings of the Indian men's and women's hockey team, and I was trying to prepare for the session to figure out, okay, where are we when we talk about the world standards? And I saw that the Indian men's team is currently fourth as per the FIH rankings. And despite the pandemic and all the hold up and everything, India has come into the tournament with some heavy duty performance. We beat the reigning Olympic champions Argentina 3-0. We beat Netherlands, we beat Belgium in the Pro Hockey League. So we've come into this tournament with a strong challenge. When we also look at the women's team, they have been on a winning streak. They have almost won 50% of their games since the time the last Olympics that they participated in. So what do you think? What do you think? Let me start off with the easiest question first. What do you think are the chances of the Indian men's and women's hockey team at this tournament? And I'm going to start off with Andrea first because let's go ahead and start with some chivalry with the ladies first.
Yeah, I think the men's team have a good chance for medal finish. Definitely, they have done a lot of hard work over the last years. Even if with the men's, there's a huge field of competitors who are almost equal, and it really depends on the day of the game. I would say it's good to see the women so active in the last years, and well, I would love to see them coming up. Not sure if they're ready for the medal yet, but yeah, I mean they're young and enthusiastic, and a lot of hard work has been done also. So let's see how they perform on this big platform.
Thank you, Andrea. What do you think, Leosa? She says that we definitely see she sees the men's team making it to the podium, and the women's team have a strong chance as well. Leosa, you're on mute.
Okay, I got that set. I would definitely agree with Andrea. I'm looking at a podium finish too, without wanting to put too much pressure on the men. They have been playing well. They have lived together through the pandemic. They have bonded well. They know each other. There's a good mixture of very young and seasoned three players above 30. We have a very safe goalkeeper, a very strong defense, a wonderful midfield. Maybe the forward line I'm not too happy with, but then the coaches know best, the selectors knew best. I'm very sure about the men's team doing well. As far as the women's are concerned, I think the revival of women's hockey started with Rio 2016. Qualifying after a break of 30 plus years and to follow it up with back-to-back Olympics is an achievement on its own. The main thing I have seen with the women is their fitness levels is unbelievable. Being in Bangalore, I have visited their training sessions. Their fitness levels are just amazing. On a given day, they could beat any team in the world. They're getting there. I believe they're not yet there. but I see them qualifying for the quarterfinals.
Wow, that's fantastic. Thank you, Leo sir. Vikram, what do you think? What are your views? Considering the fact
Yeah,
that that the men's team, like Leo sir pointed out, that there's certain flaws in the. I mean, he thinks of maybe there's more scope in the forward line. What do you think?
This team actually has been playing for almost 2 years. I think most of the young players has been playing from 2018 World Cup. So to say that they are new or fresh faces, I would not agree, because yeah, they have been playing for quite some. They have got the experience of the World Cup, and they have played for quite 2 years together. So yeah, of course, it is their first Olympics, their debutants to the Olympics, of course. But yeah, they have been playing quite some time in a lot of tournaments quite past 2 years, and I think they would have really played together and gelled well together to bring out some results. And as Leo sir said, the coach would have seen them gel as a team, as an attacking team. Uh, so it says, I mean, this performance of Olympics will show us where actually we are. But of course, as I said, the team has been playing together for quite some time, about 2 years. So, as a team, as a whole, I say it is a mix of experience as well as youngsters, but youngsters with experience. So, I think it would be a changer for us. And of course, everybody is kind of pumped up to do well. And it's most of their first game. So, everybody just wants to go there and give their best. And we are all hoping they finish at the podium.
Thank you, Vikram. I think you called out a very important point, that the right blend of youth and experience is there, which helps us to make that count. Bharat, over to you. I just want to know, what do you think are India's chances, for men's and women's team this year?
is Hindi and English is okay for you? Yeah,
Both.
yeah,
We
okay.
have our channels. We also have a Hindi audience as well. तो आपको जो comfortable है आप उसमें बताओ.
Okay. For me, as a 2 points really important. Those I noticed last years. First is the team is mentally really fit and they are ready and they accept any challenge. And second is they are really fit team. You can say it's the fittest team. But his circumstances is different if you compare to India, to the home ground, and the people sporting is totally different if you compare to Japan, the Rio Olympic. But yes, they playing together, and जो मैंने उनके मैचेस देखे हैं अभी लास्ट ईयर में, दे playing of style is really they improve a lot. So me, for me, मेरे को लगता है कि टीम really they are doing अच्छा करेगी टीम, और वो जो मैंने वॉच किया उससे लगता है कि वो इस ओलंपिक में पोडियम फिनिश कर सकती है. और जहाँ तक वीमेंस टीम की बात है, उसको मैंने ज़्यादा देखा नहीं है उसके मैचेस और वो, लेकिन हाँ मैंने न्यूज़ और मीडिया के थ्रू जो मैंने उनको रिकॉग्नाइज़ किया है, उसमें यही मेरे व्यूज़ हैं कि उन्होंने भी बहुत इम्प्रूव किया है और वो भी कुछ भी कर सकते हैं. मीन्स वो भी अपनी फाइट करेंगे अपने मेडल्स के लिए.
चलो बहुत बढ़िया बात है. भरत सर ने कहा कि we have a chance to make it to the podium for men's, and women's team will fight for it, the podium finish as well, which is fantastic. Now, with Olympics being such a big event, the world is set. Every athlete prepares for the event. So in one word, if you have to describe Olympics, what would you say? I'll start off with Vikram this time. In one word, just describe, what do you think Olympics is?
Uh, Olympics is the hard work of a lifetime. I mean,
Okay.
people just work hard to get there, to perform there, and win an Olympic medal and rejoice. I mean, that is ultimate for any athlete competing at the Olympics. They just work hard to just get there and win a medal. So yeah, so there is a lot of enthu among the players, and a lot of anxiety, and to do well and perform well. Along with that, the expectations of the whole nations are there. Everybody is looking at them. It's not like any other tournament where hockey is watched by hockey players. This is like the Olympics, and the whole nation is watching. Those expectations are sometimes comes onto the player's mind. So there is a lot at stake, if you ask me. the name of the country, that's stake, the players, their mentality, and how they go out there and give their best because they are aware that the whole nation is watching. So Olympics itself is a different atmosphere altogether, and everybody just prepares themselves to win that medal to finish at the podium. So I mean, it is just not another tournament where people just come, play, participate, and kind of experiment over there. It is the real test where they come prepared, mentally, physically, and in all aspects. I mean, they know what it is at the Olympic Games, what each match, how important each match is, and what they need to do to get there. I think that's the importance of getting into the Olympics and performing.
Wow, I can't ask for a better summary of how big it is for a player, coming from all you elite players list here. So I will quickly come back to all of you to give me one word. So I'll come to Andrea. In one word, what do you think the Olympics is? Andrea, you need to be on mute. You need to unmute yourself.
I think Bianca muted me. Okay, so I would say ultimate experience
The
for
ultimate
every.
experience.
So because like when you see also on Facebook, the athletes are completely overwhelmed because they meet other fantastic athletes from other sports, from tennis, from other sports that you never come to meet. And I think as a sports person, that's the ultimate experience that you can have in your lifetime. And you have to mentally overcome this, because you still have to focus on your own game. You cannot be overwhelmed by all the surrounding other things that are going on. And maybe that could be an advantage right now because there is no audience watching. That could also be a disadvantage because most of the players are used to playing in front of big crowds, especially the Indians. Um, you know, that was always their home advantage to have the whole home crowd behind them. So, but I'm sure they have mentally prepared the team well, what they have to expect in Tokyo. I feel sorry also for the athletes that this audience is not there because that is what is pushing you, and that is actually also what you practice for and what you wait for. That these are your laurels, and this is what you work for all the time. That so and so many people are watching you. They might watch you now online or on TV, but I mean to have the crowd in the stadium is a completely different thing.
Absolutely, absolutely agree with you. The advantage of having people cheering for you, and in the interest of time, what I will do is I will go ahead and pick up a question that has come up on our screen. Will India miss the speed of a player like SV Sunil in the forward line in the men's team, or is the team coordinating well up front? I'm going to pose this question up to you, Leo. Sir, how would you want to answer this question? Are we going to miss SV Sunil because he was a roller coaster when it came to speed? He would run like a bullet.
I personally believe we are going to miss him. He
Okay.
comes with the experience of two Olympics, and that was why I had this niggling thing about our forward line. Not to take anything away from them, Lalit and Mandeep are there. They've been performing. We have 8 players from the Junior World Cup, so they've been together from 2016.
Yep.
They have matured. They have come up together. Sunil will be missed, but it's a part of your career. You win some, you lose some.
Okay, I hope that answers our fan question there. And because yes, he was a formidable player, and we'll definitely miss him. But I'm sure the team's putting up together, like you said, they've been playing together for a long time. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up the fixtures for the tournament now, and we can. I'll start off with Bharat. आपको क्या लगता है ये फिक्सचर देख के आप ये पहला फिक्सचर देख के आपका पहला ओपिनियन क्या है मेंस शेड्यूल देख के और वुमेन्स शेड्यूल देख के
फॉर मी मुझे अच्छा लग रहा है कि न्यूजीलैंड के साथ मैच है और मुझे लगता है कि हम इस मैच को इजीली निकाल देंगे और ये अच्छी शुरुआत होगी। इससे टीम में कॉन्फिडेंस बिल्ड होगा और आने वाले मैचेस में इसका हमें फ़ायदा मिलेगा। तो इस फिक्सचर इज़ क्वाइट गुड है फॉर मी, इट्स नाइस, मुझे अच्छा लगा ये
थैंक यू
फिक्सचर।
भरत says कि न्यूजीलैंड के साथ पहला मैच है and with that could be a easy game or a good game for us. We are confident that we'll take it off in the men's team. In the women's team, our first game is with Netherlands. What are your thoughts, Vikram? I mean, what do you think? What do you make of this schedule?
I will. I mean, each and every match at the Olympics are just different. I mean, if I take examples, India lost out the semifinals, losing to Poland at Sydney. India could have got an easier opponent had it not drawn the match against and Canada at Rio. They are lowly ranked opponents to us. I mean, so any team at any given day is just better. So you have to be at your best at each and every match. There is nothing, I think the rankings don't play in your mind. It's the team and the players which play on that given day. And on a given day, which team just gives their best, I think they end up in the winning side. And that's the story. I mean, if you ask me, Argentina drew against India in Rio, but as they progressed, they won
You won the tournament.
the gold. Yeah, and so I mean, there are examples of India losing to lowly ranked teams and also drawing to very high ranked teams like Argentina. So on a given day, you cannot say what seeing an opponent or seeing their rankings or having played them in previous tournaments. So Olympics again is a different story altogether. It's up there for us to just watch and see how each team performs on a given day.
That's an interesting thought. Vikram fairly points out the fact that, what, yes, India may be coming in as, the fourth ranked team in the world, and, a top contender for a podium finish. And the women's team might be coming in with a lot of laurels from the last Olympics that they've built the team. So my question to you is, Andrea, and on a given day, anybody can beat anybody. What is it that is required of a player? What goes on in the mental makeup of a player, to be able to go out there and perform and forget about everything else?
Yeah, I think you have to take every step. I mean, every game as the next step. I just hear this from the development every time. If look to the final, you have to look for the next match only, and the focus has to be 100% on the next match only. It's not the next match later or the third match or whatever. So I also believe that it doesn't make sense to evaluate now the schedule, because if you want to finish on the podium, you have to beat every team, no matter which one. If it's the first match, the third match, or the last match, you have to stay. And that's actually the team spirit that comes into play, right? That the team meetings that you have before the teams, video analysis, how you analyze, how you, as a team, prepare yourself for the game. And that's the focus. And if you're a professional player, then this is what you live for.
Absolutely. That's a fairly important point that Andrea picks up, that you have to take every game separately and talk about it and prepare for it, use technology. And because we're talking about technology, I have somebody on the panel who's been expert at technology. So my next question is for Leo sir, specifically around usage of technology and the fact that the schedule is so tight. There is hardly any time between the first and the second game, or there might just be one breather. There are back-to-back games. So how does technology play a pivotal role in this? And what about player fatigue?
Like I told you, technology with the Indian team has been great in the last 5 to 6 years. That's why we see improved fitness levels, the use of icing for quick recovery. A 22-hour break between two matches is all that is required. The use of analytical coaches, the use of the study of the various kind of drills, the warm-ups, what part of the body each player needs to build. We have a wonderful training setup. So I don't see too much problem in a tight schedule. As far as our first game against New Zealand is concerned, I'm sure the coaches have done their homework. I'm sure the boys are all ready and geared up. They may be first-time Olympians, like Vikram said. They've been playing together for some time. And this team really is gelling with each other. They gel with each other. First time I'm seeing, I think we play with just 3 forwards. But you have a half line of 4, sometimes 5, who are all ready to get into the D and take that crack at goal. So I believe the rolling substitution, again, adds value to a player giving 100% on the field. Video analysis, options. See, today our players are all thinking players. Gone are those days when, There used to be the jam ke maro, jor se maro, khelo type of thing. That attitude is not there anymore. I think the boys are well, it's drilled into them to take decisions on the field. So I think our support staff is doing a wonderful job.
And good that you pointed about that point about the support staff, because both the Indian men's and women's team are carrying almost a support staff headcount of around 4 to 5. We have a physio, we have a masseuse or a masseur, we also have video analysts, we have scientific advisors with the team. So there's a lot of thought that has been put together to be able to compete, and ensure that we get the best results. I have a question from Mukul Pandey, who's an ex-coach and has been a part of the hockey fraternity for a very long time. And Mukul sir says New Zealand Hockey Academy has always been a bogey team for India. They are definitely a walkover, as suggested by Bharat. It is very important that we do not take it easy in the first match, and it's going to build up. Because the first match is going to have tremendous importance and set the tone. Definitely not a walkover for us, is what Mukul sir says. So it's the first game. It's an important game, and we look at the team. And New Zealand has always given us a tough time. So I'll come to Bharat. Bharat, आपको क्या लगता है कि पहला मैच न्यूजीलैंड के साथ इंडियन मेंस टीम का और रिजल्ट्स हम लोग काफी कॉन्फिडेंट है कि एज अ टीम हम लोग उनको हरा देंगे, बट उनको लाइटली नहीं लिया जा सकता. That's the opinion of the coaches as well.
एग्जैक्टली बिल्कुल सर ने जो अभी मैसेज किया वो बिल्कुल ठीक है, लेकिन एक्चुअली ये बात तो डिस्कस करने का है ही नहीं कि इजी आप इस लेवल पे खेल रहे हैं तो डेफिनेटली नोबडी गोइंग टू इजी ये कोई भी मैच कोई भी टीम कोई भी इजी नहीं ले सकता ऐसे प्लेटफॉर्म पे. ये हम एक्सपेरिमेंट करने के लिए नहीं जा रहे हैं. वी आर प्लेइंग ए फेस्टिवल दोस हैपन इन 4 years सो लेकिन ये है कि अगर ये टीम हमें मिली है तो इफ वी प्ले आवर 100% इट विल बी इजी टू विन एंड बिल्ड आवर कॉन्फिडेंस व्हाट यू मीन. सो यस इसको हम इजी नहीं ले सकते और हमें 100% चाहिए. और ये अगर हम इस जीत को अगर हम जीते हैं तो ये हमें डेफिनेटली हमारा कॉन्फिडेंस बिल्ड होगा और हम एक अच्छी परिस्थिति में जाने के हमारे चांसेस बनेंगे.
जी बिल्कुल बिल्कुल. I think Bharat specifically points out that no matches are easy. All matches are going to be taken differently, and as Andrea also suggested that look at every game as a separate game. Seize the moment, take one game at a time, one round at a time, and play it. And while we're talking about games and while we're talking about teams, let's have a look at the teams that we have. Can we have a look at that at the team India for now? I'm just going to pull up the slides for everybody. Thank you, Priyanka. So this is what the team looks like. This is the Indian women's hockey team. Where the squad has Captain Rani Rampal, who's the most experienced player of the lot and the experienced forward. She brings in a formidable experience of 241 caps, and she scored 117 goals. Most recently, she was awarded the World Player Award. Who are my question to the panel, and anybody can answer this question, who will be the key players from an Indian women's team standpoint in this Olympics? I'm sure everybody is important, but who are the players that we could watch out for? Because we from the lineup we only have 3 most experienced players who've played more than 200 games. So who are your top players that we could look forward for in the tournament to maybe bring about that difference?
Yeah, anybody?
Okay.
Yeah, I'll take.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think along with Rani, we have Navjot Singh, we have Gurjeet, who's a drag flicker, Savita Punia, Monica. They have played for quite some time now. And the youngsters with Neha Goel and Vandana, they have been doing really great. I mean, this team again has a lot of experience in the sense there are young set of players who have played at the World Cup recently and have done really well. And they know what it is to get there and not winning over there, what needs to be done. I think even at the Asian Games, they have done well. They finished with a silver medal. So they are high on confidence having coming into these games. and they have prepared themselves well, as they know what were the setbacks at the World Cup. And World Cup is another platform as the Olympics, and they know where they lacked and where they need to improve. I think there are a lot of players and a few youngsters are there, but they again saying they have been playing for quite some time together, and I think they are a beat over there to go there and really do their best and at least finish near the podium. As we said, this is the second Olympics, consecutive Olympics they have qualified for. And what works on their part is to finish at the podium. They don't have the burden of finishing at the podium like the men's have. You know, people just talk about men's finisher at the
Exactly.
podium, bringing a gold or something. The women have that kind of concession or leniency to just go there and play their best, not having that burden of getting into
Ye-
that podium frame. So I think with the experience they have got, and with the right set of mindset at the games which they go into, and if they give their best shot at each and every game, I think they have a very good chance to get up into the tournament.
Thank you, Vikram. What do you think, Andrea? What do you think? Who's your favorite player in the Indian team? And I know
Well,
I'm talking about Indian team a lot. I'll come to Germany. I promise.
no problem. Yeah, I also think that Rani will lead the team, but I also believe that all the others in the meantime have gained a lot of experience, and we are a team sport, and I'm actually against pointing out superstars because at the end of the day we win the game and not a single player. So yeah.
That's a great call. It's a team sport, and we play to win and we play together. Thank you so much. What do you think are the chances for Germany in in men's and women's this year? Since now that I have you on the call, let me ask you.
Yeah, I think the women are doing quite well at the moment. I've seen some test matches and the Euro Cup. So they were holding even the Netherlands for quite a long time, and that was an unlucky defeat that we had to take. So I think they're good for a medal. It's also a good team with a good mixture of experienced players who have last Olympics also mixed with some new fast and furious ladies. So I think they're good enough for a podium finish. The men, I mean, well, the pandemic was a little unfortunate because every country had different rules and regulations how they were allowed to practice or not. I think that was a good advantage for India that since I think like now 1.5 years they are together in the camp. So I think a lot of practice together with the team has happened. Maybe not so much competition with other teams. That might be the minus point of the coin. But yeah, so the once they were together again, they took up speed, and I think uh, we're a good bunch of guys that can rock the Olympics for sure.
Well, we better hope that India is always there to go ahead and compete with as well. So I'll stick on to that point of the men's team, and I'll get the men's team up. For Leo sir to answer that question for me. So let's look at the men's team now, and let's look at the team composition. And Leo, so what do you make of this side? And I know you've had your reservations with the forward line, but overall, what do you think of this unit?
I wouldn't use the word reservation because we all have our own choices. But at the end of the day, it's the coach who's responsible, and he's seen something that we haven't seen. So he's
Absolutely.
confident with his team. So we go with it. We go with the selection. I have absolutely no issues. We have a good team, very good in the midfield.
And
There's going to be a little extra burden on Lalit and Mandir. But then we know Gurjant, we know his killer hit that he has. We also know that the little fellows, Dilpreet and Shamsher, they are no raw hands. They are tigers in their own way.
all
So
right.
I'm quite confident about the men's doing well. And as far as their first match against New Zealand, see, everybody has had this break in their training. I think India is the only country where they sit for 365 days all through the year in a camp. They live together. It's not only because of the pandemic. I'm sure Vikram and Bharat will agree that at least 10 months in a year, the Indian camp is together, and in the last 7-8 years, they are at Bangalore. So they do train together. So the bonding part is absolutely no issues. Adding one or two players here, there is always there. As far as New Zealand is concerned, see, what was the last big tournament we played? It was the FIH Pro League. New Zealand played a lot of games, but what will surprise you, they won only 2 matches. They beat Spain and they beat Argentina during the FIH Pro League, and both the teams are in the same pool. So teams are going to carry that. Unfortunately, we didn't play them because of the pandemic. We couldn't get that practice game. And I think the last we played New Zealand was in 2019 during the test games for the Tokyo Olympics. They beat us 2-1 in the first game. We came back and hammered them 5-0. So like everybody on the panel agrees, it's your performance on that day and those 60 minutes. We have it in us to beat any team. We need to be tough here. We shouldn't have the first match blues, which I don't believe this team is going to have. Those youngsters are well guided by the seniors there. We have 3 players above 30 with a lot of experience. 6 of them are former Olympians. 2 of them are triple Olympians. There's a lot of seniors to help out the youngsters there.
Correct. So I just want, I mean, when I was looking at the squads in both the teams, and I just have a question that has popped up. Has the new format of 4 15-minute quarters versus the old 35 minutes 2 halves format, do you think the new format favors, earlier we given away the heartbreaking last minute goals? I mean, the question here especially is around the formats. I mean, with the new format coming in, do you think that it takes a lot toll on the player? They have to put a lot of effort and ensure, because the last minute heartbreaks don't happen. What are your thoughts? Let me start off with Vikram.
With the new format coming in, it's a win-win situation for all the teams. I mean, the idea to have this quarters is to make the game faster and more, spectator friendly. They want to see more goals and more action. When you have 35 minutes, it's kind of marathon run, and at the end, it stretches quite long, and as you said, the last minute finishes. But with this format coming in, of course, and it has benefited the Asian countries, I may say, rather than all most of the countries, in the sense we have worked on our fitness, and this kind of format where we get that breaks in between and with the rolling substitution, I think it's doing wonders for the team. I think now the players are have more fresh legs, and it's more about the younger. It's not about the experience or things are there, but yeah, it's about the legs which are running, which are quicker, which are faster. So yeah, of course it has benefited us, and as you see, the results also speak about it. Like after the format has come, we have been doing quite well consistently throughout the tournaments. Yeah.
I think thank you, Vikram, for sharing that. I think, and before I take the next question and I lose the thought, my next question is to Bharat. Bharat, आपको क्या लगता है? Because अभी विक्रम ने कहा कि fitter होना चाहिए, fitter legs, faster legs, but दोनों teams में, Indian men's and women's team में goalkeeper हम एक ही लेके गए हैं. So वो कुछ problem हो सकता है? Is that a part of the strategy?
या इससे डिपेंड हो सकता है बिल्कुल। ये एक्चुअली कोचेस की क्या रणनीति है, उसके क्या प्लान्स हैं, वो उस पे ज़्यादा डिपेंड करता है। एक्चुअली कई बार प्लेयर्स को भी वो गोलकीपिंग किट पहना के रेडी कर देता है कि बाय चांस अगर गोलकीपर इंजर होता है तो कि कोई प्लेयर टीम का उस जगह को ले सके। एडवांटेज भी हैं, डिसएडवांटेजेस भी हैं। अगर इंजर्ड हो जाता है तो इस बहुत बड़ी ट्रबल है, मुसीबत आ जाती है टीम पे। और अगर नहीं होता तो इस रियली गुड फॉर द टीम, क्योंकि सब्स्टिट्यूशन हमें बहुत ज़्यादा चाहिए, क्योंकि अभी गेम इतना फास्ट हो चुका है। और अगर आपके पास सब्स्टिट्यूशन ज़्यादा प्लेयर्स हैं तो उसका डेफिनेटली आपको बेनिफिट मिलता है। तो इस एडवांटेज भी है, डिसएडवांटेज इज डिपेंड्स एंड स्ट्रेटजी ऑफ द कोचेस। या
Thank you, Bharat. And Bharat says that there are advantages as well as disadvantages. Andrea and Leo, sir, do you see the fact that having only one goalkeeper in a long tournament could be a positive, or it could backfire? Or have we tried that before?
What I would opinion here is the Olympics, the format was only 16 players. And that is when the thought of going with one goalkeeper came in. You were always allowed two reserves who could only replace an injured player who's permanently injured. He's out of the tournament. But now, having allowed you 18, I believe 18, we should have gone with two goalkeepers. But then there was a rider that the third reserve is also permitted. So they're keeping their goalkeeper there. So if an injury happens, they can always bring in the goalkeeper. So they have more players on the bench to go in with their rolling substitutions and keep the game fast. The issue here is the burnout of one goalkeeper. You cannot use the second goalkeeper, bring him in and bring him out. Like if you study the Indian team for the last 3+ years, I think the coaches have been going in, shifting goalkeepers every quarter, sometimes giving them one half each. I have absolutely no doubt on Srijesh. He is a pillar and he's one of my strengths, I believe, that I feel secure in the defense. He motivates the team. So 18 players, I would have preferred two goalkeepers. But then now they have said you have to name your 16 on the day of the match. So as good as, again, you're going with 16 only. And you have the option to change the goalkeeper. So 18 is better. More fresh legs.
And what do you think, Andrea? So Savita Punya and Srijesh are the best that we have in the business. Formidable experience, great stalwarts for the game. What are your thoughts? We're just having them only, and Leo Sir is very particular about what he wants and the kind of confidence he has on their ability.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Leo because I also know from the German team that they had two equal goalkeepers who would play their quarters equally and also in different opponents to choose according to your strategy. So then for the Olympics, as a coach, you need to change your strategy because you have to make your pick. And it could turn out that you make the wrong pick, and you have no chance to revise that somehow. Otherwise, I mean, the rules are all for the same. I mean, everybody has only one goalkeeper, so it's not an advantage or disadvantage of any team. But yeah, I find it tricky and difficult. Any other given player is replaceable, but I have to remind you that our German goalkeeper, the second goalkeeper, scored a goal against India, if you remember.
Yeah, you never know, Srijesh might return the favor this time. But yeah, that's a good point. And while with that, we come towards the end, the last piece of the segment for today's episode. And I would like to go ahead and ask this question to all of you now. That what would you like to say to the Indian fans? As we gear up for the entire Olympics, not just hockey specific fans, just Indian fans. What would you like to say to them? Let's start off with Vikram Khan.
Yeah, I think it's a great moment for the country to unify together to support the sports apart from cricket. Yeah, we all get unified when cricket is there, but yeah, this sports Olympics brings us together because each one is following each and every sport. It doesn't matter who is playing. It is just the Indian tricolor which is flying. It is the participant is an Indian who is participating. So, I mean, it's a great moment for us to all unify and support and cheer our entire contingent out there, and just cheer. I mean, let's not give them the burden of medals and all. Just let them enjoy the game. Let them do the duty. They have trained hard throughout the years to get there. I mean, if there are disappointments, but it's okay. But they have gone through a lot. I mean, it's not easy to play one game, and getting to Olympics itself is something great. We need to respect them. We need to cheer them. We need to. They are our stars. So it's time for all to unify and just cheer for our Indian contingent and wish our prayers and blessings always are with them.
Thank you. That's so lovely. That's so sweet. Yes, Andrea, what do you? What is your message to the Indian fans, and yes, to the German fans also?
Yeah, so I think we had a tough time during the pandemic, all of us, and I think maybe the Olympics is a good event to hopefully close that chapter. and get our lives back on track where it was. And maybe it helps also to, improve in India, and people can also not watch hockey because Olympia has a lot more to show. So I'm always getting inspired during Olympics. I always watch athletics and rowing and what all, and I get very patriotic and very emotional. So yeah, maybe we can carry this forward, that spirit, and that it doesn't last only for the Olympics, but further on.
Sure, carry this forward and continue. So I'll just change the question for Bharat and Leo, sir. Specifically, the reason I'm changing this question is to get in your views on, what's the role of a coach for such a big sporting spectacle. What goes in the mind of a Graham Reed or a Sean Marinier when they're talking to their teams? Because I've been listening into a few interviews, and I remember categorically where Short once spoke in the interview, and he said that, my target is to, yes, go for gold and try to ensure that we have a podium finish for our Indian Eves, but also being able to make that difference in their lives, where, a lot of our Indian hockey players are now taking presentations, they're having great conversations, they are leading not just in hockey and other aspects of life. So what do you think is your take on how the role of a coach is in building a team for such a big tournament and otherwise?
This is for me,
Yes,
Bharat.
yes, yes. For Bharat and Leo, sir. Whoever wants to go
Okay,
first.
actually, okay. इम्पोर्टेंट है कि कोच की लीडरशिप कि आप ये ओलंपिक्स है या किसी भी लेवल का टूर्नामेंट्स है, उसको आप कैसे लीड करते हो, कैसे उसको अपने आप को, अगर कुछ प्रॉब्लम्स भी आती है उसको कैसे हैंडल करना, वो सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट है. सेकेंडली कि आपकी स्ट्रेटेजी चेंज नहीं होनी चाहिए. ये नहीं है कि ये ओलंपिक्स है, इस मीन्स आप we do something differently or we do have to change something, in between. You have to believe in yourself and you have to believe in your team, and take responsibility, and leadership is really important. Or this type of coaches, those we have, I think they mature and they know this type of circumstances, the Olympics and these big events. So I think हमें इन पे ज्यादा डाउट्स और वो ना करते हुए हमें ऐसा लगता है कि ये मेरा मानना है, जैसे मैंने इन कोचों को देखा हुआ है, ये मेंटली बहुत मजबूत और होते हैं, और इनका जो स्ट्रेटेजी होती है वो चाहे छोटे टूर्नामेंट की है या लाइक ओलंपिक्स की, उनकी जो स्ट्रेटेजी होती है वो बनी हुई होती है, वो उस पर अड़िग रहते हैं और वो विश्वास करते हैं लास्ट जब तक ये टूर्नामेंट चलता है कि मुझे इस टीम को कैसे इनका कॉन्फिडेंस बिल्ड रखना और इस टीम को कैसे उस पोडियम फिनिश करवाना है. तो ये कोचेस बहुत सुलझे हुए कोचेस होते हैं, और ये लास्ट तक इनकी कोशिश यही होती है कि हमें लास्ट तक कैसे स्ट्रेटेजी को अगर चेंज भी करनी पड़े तो ज्यादा ना करते हुए, ज्यादा कंफ्यूज प्लेयरों को ना करते हुए, कैसे उनको एक साथ रख के लेके जाना है और मेडल्स तक इनको पहुंचाने में हेल्प करनी है. तो इस
जी बिल्कुल.
जी
कैसे उनको साथ में रखना है, अपने स्ट्रेटेजी पे अड़िग रहना है, काफी इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट्स है. लियो सर, what are your final thoughts on this?
To me, I believe a modern day top coach has to be very good in man management. That's his first trait that he needs. He has been given the best in the country. From 55 to 32 and to your final 16 or 18, he has the best players in the country. Now, it's about bonding them together. It's about defining roles. It's about making them thinking players. So he has to be a friend. He has to go into why this guy is off color today. Okay, he has a big support team, but let me tell you, other than geometry on the drawing board, set pieces, he is the motivator of the team. I know a lot of our top players who are very active on social media. One bad post or something negative, it does affect them. I have interacted with players, sir, usne aisa bol diya. It happens, yeah, they are human beings.
Correct.
So I would like to just come back. I feel a coach should be a good friend, a guide, a guy who's giving them the mental toughness. The guy who's encouraging them to face defeat and to rise back. That's the role of a coach.
Absolutely, to face defeat and to rise back. And I hope that India faces all challenges that are given to them this year, and we go ahead and have a podium finish. We pray that both our Indian men's and women's team make it to the podium. With that, I would like to thank all of you esteemed guests for coming on to the show, and all our fans and our well wishers of Fanspire who have joined us today for this session. Thank you very much for your time. And yes, we will come back to you with a fresh episode, right after the league stage, where we talk about the chances and the knockout stage. And if India reaches the finals, then we definitely have a pre and post final episodes as well. So the idea of Fanspire is to put everyone together and give an opportunity for people like all of us to have an interaction. And I will wait for Bharat. Bharat, अब बोलिए, आपको कुछ बोलना है? Yes, go ahead.
यस, मैं आपके चैनल के माध्यम से मैं अपनी जो देश की जनता है, पब्लिक, उसको रिक्वेस्ट करना चाहता हूँ। अगर हमारी शुरुआत अच्छी नहीं होती है बाय चांस न्यूजीलैंड के साथ या वीमेंस और मेंस की, तो प्लीज कीप सपोर्टिंग। एक मैच हारने से या 2 मैच हारने से इज नॉट मीन कि वी आर गोइंग टू लूज और वी आर टू लूज एनी मेडल्स। प्लीज कीप सपोर्टिंग, आप सपोर्ट करते रहिए और डेफिनेटली वी विल डू बेटर।
जी जी, बिल्कुल बिल्कुल, फ्रांस का सपोर्ट बहुत ही ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है, आवश्यक है। और एक आधा 2 मैच से हमारी टीम का सक्सेस डिफाइन नहीं होता। But thank you very much. Thank you, Andrea, for being the flag bearer of women empowerment on this call, and giving your views for both Indian men's and women's as well as the German teams. Thank you, Vikram Khan, for taking time out, and I hope you have a great weather there in Coorg and you enjoy. And thank you, Leah, sir, for joining us for today's call. Thank you very much, and we will meet up for the next episode. Stay tuned for the broadcast of the next episode. Thank you so much. Chak de. Thank you, guys. Let's cheer for India. Let's go for gold. Chak de.